Hey guys, it's Joe Carrell. Welcome to another episode of In the Mix. Today we're going to continue breaking down our discussion on the mix process of Diamond Dixies Without Your Love. We're going to add some delay, we're going to add some reverb, but something even more critical, we're going to get into automation. That is the magic that I think takes a mix from good to great.
Baby, it's so me to love it, something I can't live without. Well, honey, look how I'm doing. I'm just fine without your loving now.
All right, so we are back. We basically reached the point last time where we had, the drums in, the bass in, and we had got our, our initial sounds and panning levels and all that kind of volume levels on our acoustic guitars, electric guitars, and our keyboard elements. So what I'm going to try to do now is I left some room dynamically, especially in our acoustic guitar and bouzouki, for some dynamic range control. So the way I'm going to try to get that is through parallel compression. I've got a compressor set up here based on a Neve 2254. And I'm gonna, see I've got it on a separate send here. Let's turn these guys up. And I'm gonna do that on all guitar tracks. Let's see, every one of them. Turn them to unity. It may be a little too much, but we'll know soon enough. And you see I've got follow main pan turn on all of these. So the panning here is following the panning, the main panning inside of Pro Tools. All right, so let's I'm not gonna hear it yet, I'm just gonna kind of see what kind of compression I'm getting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my, all things music except for drums fader, and I'm gonna turn him down just a little bit. And I'm going to make up the gain difference with this highly compressed signal. I think I may take the B3 out of there. I'm gonna turn the guitar power passes down just a little bit. I'm gonna focus for a minute on what that parallel compression is doing to the bouzouki and the acoustic guitar. Okay, now I'm gonna hear it in verse 2. I think I'm going to turn down the guitar, all things guitars and keyboards down about 1 more dB here. The apparent volume, the lift that I'm getting from the Squisher 2 here, the parallel compression on everything, guitar related, is getting on top of the backbeat from the drums just a little more than I want. Okay, I think that feels good. That's a great starting point for where I'm going next, which is I'm going to add some effects to a few things here and there, and then I'm going to turn my stereo bus EQ on. Okay, so I know I want on this beginning. This mix is not going to have a lot of reverb. But I am going to put a little sense of space on the bouzouki and the acoustic. I'm going to at least try. All right, right, let me adjust the setting a little bit. That's the Relab LX480. I'm gonna turn that decay time down a little bit. Yeah, and I'm going to I think I'm gonna pan it at least similar to the way I have the guitar panned in the mix track. Maybe a little harder. Okay, just a little bit of glue, you know. Let's try the acoustic. You know, sometimes when you're using parallel compression, one thing I'll point out, maybe you get used to seeing where your sin levels, you know, are for reverb. When you start playing around with adding in parallel compression, you know, you're amplifying your dry signal. So sometimes your aux levels like this, you know, you're gonna have to drive them harder to hear the amount of reverb you used to hear otherwise. I think I've got a little too much on the bouzouki. Here, verse 2. Okay, cool. Let's add some delay to the electric guitars. There was a little bit of delay added during the tracking, but I'm going to add just a little bit more. Maybe not any reverb at all. I like that. Let's see how that sounds in the mix here in a minute. Let's add kind of that same amount to this guy, and we'll just pan him the opposite direction. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, now let's take a look at possibly adding a little reverb to the drums. Not much, because we're getting a lot of sustain, you know, out of the hand claps and things like that. So that we've got layered underneath them. But I may put a little direct reverb on the toms. That may sound pretty good. Let's check this part up here out. Okay, that's pretty cool. I may not add any more reverb to anything direct. I may take this kit mic, this, you know, compressed junk mic, trash mic, gack mic, you know, whatever you guys want to call it. We may add a little bit of that to this guy. Let's see, I'm gonna do the tighter section, verse 2, where we've got a nice solid backbeat. Okay, I think that sounds cool. You may have noticed along the way there, I ended up turning the delay down on the guitars. I thought during those moments in the verses where he's playing around, I just thought, you know, I could hear the delay a little too much. This song just isn't needing a lot of that kind of thing to me. All right, so I think we have a really good starting spot to maybe add just a little bit of EQ on our WA EQPs here. All right, so I'm going to add these guys. Now we've been hearing them all along. You know, the signal has been passing through here, heating these tubes up, and that's shaping what we're hearing. But now I'm going to actually turn the EQs on. I've kind of got this little preset that I use. I boost a couple dB of low end at an extremely low rate, 30 cycles here. And then I also cut, but I cut by less than I boost. See that? That's probably 2 dB, this is 1. And you can exaggerate that. But what that does, this is a very broad stroke EQ. And so if you select 30 cycles, for example, you're reaching, you know, up in this territory on a normal EQ. So I've already, you know, worked kind of hard to carve away low mid, you know, issues and overlaps. So I don't want to enhance that. All I want to enhance is the, you know, the extreme low end punch. And because what this EQ can do, it'll make your low end punchier without being muddy. So I'm going to turn this guy on, and we're also hearing a couple dB of lift at 12K if there's room for it. And I'm going to engage them. I'm going to listen to it for a second, engage them, you know, listen again, and maybe do some fine tuning adjustments. Okay, what I decided on is I'm using the low cut trick, you know, where the overlapping filter trick that these EQs do so well. I'm boosting a little more than I'm cutting, that kind of thing on the low end. After hearing the high end, you know, 1 to 2 dB added, I really feel like I've got enough high end in the source, the way it was captured, as well as some of the EQs that I've done. I'm not really hearing the need for any more air. I feel like if I add any more right now, I may be tying the hands of my mastering engineer just a little bit. Plus, you know, the lead vocals, we still have to add those, and you know, they're gonna have plenty of sheen to them. So I'm comfortable to leave it right here for now. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start automation. And to me, that's, again, that's really the difference between a good mix and a great mix, or a poor mix and an average mix, whatever. I feel like automation is what takes your mix to the next level. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to set, I've already, you know, my assistant has already trimmed all the, you see the audio is all pretty clean already. There's no, the noise floor is gone. Basically, you know, if you think back to the old console days, those of you that worked on analog consoles, we captured a screenshot of our static settings. Once we got to where we were feeling good, we thought, you know, we felt good about our mix, we had everything feeling good, we would save a snapshot. That's basically what I feel like I'm doing in today's, you know, era, is I'm trying to, you know, always remember these breakpoints that I'm adding to my screen here are basically a snapshot of where I started, you know, so I get an hour into it and I always know where I left off. But I'm just gonna put a little breakpoint at the beginning of everything, and then we're ready to take off. And you'll see in my room, I've got 3 sets of speakers. I have full range, you know, larger JBLs that I get my sounds on for the most part, because they're full range. I got extended, you know, low end. I have a nice detailed high end, and that's what I need to hear, you know. But at this point, and I generally check as I go. I've not really been showing that, but I have NS10s, you know, and I run them at a much lower volume, and I check my fine tuning. Mid-range EQ overlaps, because the mid-range is very, very exposed. And then I also have vintage R-tones over here, and that is even a more limited set of you know, what we're hearing. So I can check, and they're basically in mono because they're sitting right beside each other. So that's just 3 different snapshots I can look at to see how, you know, how the mix is progressing. So at this point, I switch over to at a lower volume to my NS10s. And that's pretty much where I live for quite a long time. All right, so let's take off here. That's it right there. I want that second note on the electric guitar to pop out just a little more. Okay, right there, the vocals are gonna come in. So I'm gonna dip the acoustics a little bit. They're on the intro, they're carrying the show, right? They are the show. So after that, I'm gonna take the bouzouki and the, and the acoustic, and this is breakpoint automation at this point, just because I'm doing large chunks at one time. So I'm not gonna do it with the fader. I'm gonna actually do it with, you know, today's mouse technique, all right? Cool. All right, one more time. Okay, you see, I've got the real kick drum as well as that loop kick drum going. So when the real kick drum plays, I'm going to turn it down because, you know, the frequency is building up too much. The volume of the kick drum is building up too much. Well, let's try that. Okay, remember on an earlier episode, I talked about not wanting the vocals on because I was looking for little musical moments within the band that I wouldn't hear if the vocal was on top of everything. Listen, there's a really tasty little acoustic guitar thing that I'm going to boost for a moment. Same thing, it's in between lyrics, so I can really stand for that to pop up for a second and be heard. Turn the bass guitar down right there, let him ramp up into that. Okay, one more time. You hear the electric guitar, it's a da-da-da-da-da, right around the halfway point. You know, I'm gonna bring that kind of stuff out. That's moments like that. You know, those are the money moments. All right. So, you know, that's why I mix music first. Okay, and I also feel like that one shimmy guitar part, I feel like that guy can come up a little bit, just a little bit. And the B3 down just a little bit. I feel like it's a little too, you know, a little too thick. I'm gonna bring those guitar moments up even a little bit more. Those are just really cool. And then let's think about the acoustics and bouzouki. Okay, I'm gonna proceed to do this through the entire song. Join me next week and we will continue automation and start adding our vocals. All right, guys, as always, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support. If you haven't already, remember to follow Warm Audio on all their social media pages and maybe take a minute to give them a big shout out for all this great educational content that they're providing. Also, follow me on my own pages at In the Mix with Joe Carrell. Now here is Diamond Dixie singing Without Your Love.
Do you think that I'm crying over you and still hung up on every word you'd say? 'Cause boy, you sweet talk to try to get your way, but those stupid games don't work on me anyway. Baby, you told me your love is something I can't live without. Well, honey, you were doing something good for me, as if you were a heaven-sent redeemer. Boy, what made you think that I needed saving? You thought I was broken from the beginning. Baby, you told me your love is something I can't live without. Well, honey, well, talk is cheap, ain't it, baby? I'm just fine without your loving now. Without your love, yeah. Without your love, yeah. Without your love, yeah. I'm just fine without your loving now. If you thought that you were my everything, well, it turns out it meant nothing, yeah, you meant nothing. Well, honey,